Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another stream. Oh, I forgot to turn on my captions and stuff. Give me just 1 second. Make that visible. Haha, now you can see me. Hooray! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the stream. Yeah, so today we're going back to working on the Baroque and Rococo style building here. Hopefully well, so today my main focus is I want to start actually building the floor. Last time I was building all of these ovals and circles in preparation for making the actual floor plan, and today I want to start building a floor. And I had an idea. Hello! Welcome to the stream! Um, I wanted to do something a little bit different for my actual floor. I was originally going to just do basic block palette stuff, and I have an idea for something I want to try to do, and I don't know if it'll actually succeed. It might look really, really terrible, and I might end up removing all of it. But basically, my idea is, I don't know if you are all familiar with the idea of making a fake reflection in Minecraft. The idea is, here, let me quickly go to spectator so I can fly faster. Woo! Alright, so I don't know if you are familiar with the mirror thing, way to make something look mirrored in Minecraft, like a reflection. And that is to basically take an object like this one, flip it upside down, and then place it into a layer of stained glass. So if I have a floor that is completely white stained glass, and then I take that and flip it and place it underneath the glass, it kind of makes the image look like it is mirrored. Well, I want to do something similar with my floor here, but I really want it to look like polished marble is kind of my goal that I'm hoping to achieve here. So what I was going to do is basically layer the glass instead of just one layer of glass, have multiple layers of glass, and as you know, stacking them on top of each other actually makes them sort of blend together. So I was hoping to make something that looks a little bit more of like, instead of just straight up white, I was hoping to make it look more like a white marble. And so my goal is to try to figure out what colors to layer on top of each other to get that look. I think I need a bit more of like oranges and yellows to get the look I want, because I don't want it to be a pure white. I want it to be more of, you know, more like an off-white or a cream. I almost worry that that's too saturated with both the yellow and the orange there. So, yeah, maybe not the orange, or maybe not the yellow. Maybe let's try orange, maybe another layer of pink. I don't know. That almost looks too pink. It does involve quite a lot of color blending, and it might be better to look at it where I can see the sky through it. So I know I'm going to be stacking them vertically, but I might end up stacking them horizontally while messing with what my main colors are going to be, so that way I can look at it that way. I also don't know if I want the white directly on the top, but probably. So that's kind of what I'm going to start out with here. Once I get an effect that I like, something else I'm going to do is basically draw in little marbled effects. So, you know, marble is not one flat color, it has like streaks in it. So I'd probably just, you know, if I have a white layer and then a pink layer, I could add some brown streaks in the pink layer to sort of change it up. The thing though is that if I have two colors that are exactly the same, layered one on top of each other, they don't have the stacked opacity unless you have an air gap. I don't want to have to put any air gaps, so what I would have to do is basically if I put brown streaks in the pink, I could not put brown as the next layer. I would have to then put in, say, an orange layer and then do brown. Is something I'll have to keep in mind, but Yeah, I think for right now, I'm going to just start kind of stacking up. Now, my goal here with it is if I have enough layers, it will end up looking more and more opaque. As it goes down further, it will create what's known as the fog effect, so things will kind of disappear as it goes down. So I wouldn't have it all be clear, it would end up going more and more stacks of colors all the way till I reach essentially where my ceiling is going to go, because if I'm going to be building the entire build, flipping it and posting it down below, it will end up having sort of having a fog effect through that. It will look more like a reflection in marble, is kind of my goal. Alright, so Fake SpongeBob is asking where I am from. I am from the southeast United States. That's where I currently live, though I originate from the Pacific Northwest, so I'm kind of either end of the country. That's where I originate from. Currently, I'm in the southeast of the United States. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, I guess I needed those layers, didn't I? I don't know if I should just continue to alternate, what I have here. I don't think it matters too much the order. I guess that's something else to test. Is, would it matter if it was white, brown, pink, orange, yellow, white, brown, pink, orange, yellow, or should I change it to be like white, yellow, well, white, pink, yellow, orange, brown, I don't know. That's sort of something I have to determine. I kind of like having the brown be the secondary color because it makes it look a little bit more the color I'm wanting, and it buries the yellow, which is a little bit too stark of a bright color. I kind of like how I like the effect of having multiple colors side by side, actually. Looking at this side by side, it'd be nice if I had some of the darker patch and some of the lighter patch, but that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve by putting streaks in. So if I were to do, how should I do this? If I put orange streaks with the brown, and then I can't do brown on that because that's brown next to it. Maybe do some yellow streaks with the pink, white with orange, and just do a pattern like that. Would that make sense? Just basically take the same pattern, but alternate it. So this is like the stripes that would be in each layer. I think that's probably good. Alright, I shall do that. And the way that we're going to do this, I don't know how many layers to have for the floor, and it's okay that it'll be stacked up and built up, because I will have an exterior built down a ways, and then it could be however deep it needs to be, and I'll probably remove this layer of grass underneath. So let me go ahead and do that right now, just to make sure that we're starting without anything, going back down into the void, basically, is what we want this to do. I move so slow. I think, let me use Axiom. There's a way to change my movement speed, my fly speed. Let's do that. Haha! That's better. Alright, I don't know exactly how deep to go before I reach void. Couple blocks. Alright. Good enough. Let me out, let me out! Help, I'm stuck. That. Alright. So there. Kapoof! We have void. I missed by 2 blocks. Try that again. Boink. Poof. Perfect. Yeah, again, it doesn't really matter. I'll end up building up other stuff around it. And I'm thinking I'm also going to have to put aisleways here because I do want two bell towers in the front. But for right now, I'm just going to focus on what I had before, and then I'll build on top of that. So essentially I want to take these forms and I'm going to start filling them. Apparently, I didn't go far enough this way either. Whoops. Da. Da. That didn't work. Why didn't it work? Right, because I need to go on the surface with the top one. That's why. Haha. I didn't go far enough. There! I have now made sure that there's void all the way around. And now, essentially, there's a way to do a fill command with world edit. I just have to remind myself of how to do so. If I were to fill this, actually I'll probably, let me get rid of these first. Should I do brown as my bottommost layer? Probably. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do the brown, pink. Well, actually I have to reverse it. Brown, white, yellow, orange, pink, brown, white. So that way I eventually end up with the white as the topmost layer. I'm not sure, again, how many I need to go down, but essentially enough that I'm confident that it will cover the entirety of my roof, or the ceiling at least. So I think if I do a fill command with brown stained glass, and I think I have to specify like 100 blocks or something. Did that do it? It did do it. Cool. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. 100 blocks was not enough, so perhaps, well, I don't want to completely open this up because I want to be able to mark all of these. So maybe what I need to do is re-outline up above, but then ignore the underneath bits. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm not sure what to outline it with. Probably something generic that I'm going to use in the build, like granite. I know granite isn't exactly everybody's favorite block, but it actually matches my color palette quite well. If I were to go over to stare at my color palette, these are my colors that I'm planning on using, and you can see that granite is more on the pinkish side with some more of the neutral tones, which is what I'm wanting to use for the bulk of the build. So I think that's a decent enough block. We'll go ahead and go with it. Now, some of you may have noticed I haven't actually made any progress from when I was working on this last month. I did mean to actually build more, at least to finish the outlines, as I said, to add in like the aisleways and bell towers and such. But it is what it is. Life gets busy. I think for this layer, I'm going to actually start over instead of doing the, and in fact I might do an undo here. So that way this layer is kept clean with the wool, and then every other layer consecutively will be filled. So what I need to do is, there's a way to take a shape and then stack it. I think it might just be the stack command. I'll admit I haven't used it that often, so I don't remember how to do that stuff. All of the world edit commands that I'm most familiar with, yeah, sure, it's great, I can do those all the time, but the ones that I have never used, it's like, I know they're there, I just don't remember how to use them, so I don't always use them. But that's okay, we'll try to get this up. I'm hoping this looks cool at the end. Alright, at this point I'm just going to turn and go this way. Again, I think that it will be better with an aisleway here, so that way it makes it a little bit more flush this way. So yeah, just picture an aisle going this way, and I'll just basically take the same thing that I've got over there and copy it over once I actually get the aisle in. Or I could just take the time to try to plot out an aisleway. Yeah, let me go ahead and do that real quick, just so that way I know what I'm working with. Maybe I'll use, like, orange wool, why not, to try to make the actual outline for the aisle. Let me real quick pull up, I have a reference image for for those of you who don't know, I'm using the Basilica of the 14 Holy Helpers to help me plan out what I'm doing here. I could do my own original build, and I kind of am. I'm not just copying the Basilica of the Holy Helpers, but I find it helps to have some sort of reference, so that way I can be like, this for sure is a Baroque Rococo build, and feel a little bit better about myself doing that. So, Basilica of the 14 Holy Helpers. Sorry, I'm just doing a quick Google search of it. 14 Holy Helpers. Floor plan. I find starting with a floor plan is like the best thing you can do in any given situation. It helps you be able to better plot out what you're doing, and that's basically what I was starting with here, was taking a floor plan and building it up. It looks like essentially it makes a bit of an octagon going around, for the exterior of the build, it makes a bit of an octagon going around there. I'm just going to rough in and say that after this point, just a little bit past the 45-degree angle on the actual circle bit, is when I'm going to start the aisles. The aisles are not actually that big on this build. And I'm not making this as big as the Holy Helpers. The Holy Helpers one has another oval right there, and then 2 more ovals in the aisles right there. I'm not going to bother with that. I think I'm just going to make the one bit here with then bell towers on the front, just like they have in the Basilica here. It also looks like in the Basilica there's a, it extends out this way. There's a bit of a room going here as well on either side, so I'll go ahead and do that as well. It looks like this one is a little bit past the midway point. I think I'm going to use the same reference where it kind of looks like this almost makes more of an octagon shape on the outside. So in which case I would probably place this one coming out to be roughly here, and it will meet up with where I'm making that one meet up over there, and it'll actually square off these corners a little bit. I'm wondering if that's going to be too big of a square, because this is actually really quite small in my reference. I almost wonder if I need to just take it, because there is a pathway that leads from roughly this point, and then it comes into this area here, so they're connected through there. Yeah, I think this is why I was putting off doing this, is because I was like, I'm not entirely sure what the math is to figure out exactly where this ought to go, and I do want this to be a little bit more prominent sticking out here. I'm just going to say here-ish. Or I could... There's this pattern of 3s, so maybe after the pattern of 3s. Right there. Yep. I know, imprecise. But then I was having this one end. Maybe I should have this one end after the pattern of 2s, so right here instead. In which case, that goes to... That should be the same going this way, right? Right? Why are you not the same? Maybe it is the same. This is the pattern of 2s, but that didn't look like it matched up. Maybe it did. Okay. Yeah. Thar be it. Alrighty. I'm gonna minimize my floor plan so I can actually look at what you guys are doing again, if you're commenting at all. Alright. Now I'm just going to square this off, and that will be the edge. And then I'm going to back up and see if that looks proportional to what I want. Because then I'll have an octagon there, and then it leads into an octagon out here. It does seem like this octagon side of the octagon is a little bit lacking compared to that one, but it does go past the midpoint of the oval here, so I'm gonna say that's probably fine. It almost looks like, turns this into almost like a bay window. That's what it looks like. Over here, I'm going to, a lot of Baroque buildings have, where if the curvature of the building bows outwards in one spot, it's usually backed up with convex curves going the other way. So this one would bow here, and then this one would bow out that way, and so that will be my aisleway, and the bell tower will look a little bit more convex instead of concave instead of convex. That's what I mean to say. Yes. So that's what I'm going to do for this floor plan. I could end up just using, like, select one side and then select the other, but I find this helps me know exactly where I'm going with it to just put in the blocks by hand here. So if it's rounded this way, it's just going to picture a circle going rounded that way, in which case I need to actually have this come out just a little bit more. I don't think I want it to come out as far as that end, so probably just from there, just so that way the front side of the building is a little bit more protruding than the sides of the build are, and in fact I think I could probably make that a couple blocks shorter. What I should do is actually come up with a circle for this. So real quick, I'm going to grab another color of wool and we're going to build a circle. Let me just grab that and we'll figure out how many blocks it is from that to that, and then I can find a center point and just build a circle from it. I'm not making it an oval. You can't make me do another oval. Not on camera. I spent like 2 hours making a single oval. I don't want it to exactly mesh because the curve is going to line up with it, but it's not exactly. Let's maybe make it at this point. I think I can make there. Yeah. I'll make a circle from that. I think that'll make a circle. It doesn't seem like that's going to make a good circle, does it? It almost seems like the midway point should instead be further down, doesn't it? Yep, sure does. I'm going to select this and move it like 3 blocks or so. Move it. And of course that would select things I don't want it to select. Why did it do that? Did I accidentally... It should just be a straight line. Oh, that wasn't. It's because I messed that up. That's why. Alright. Move it. Is that instead a better center point to make a proper curve? Yeah, seems so. I think that'll be better. I almost wonder if I need to more like that. That's the edge. Alright, so if we say that's one end, that's the other end, World Edit tells me that that's 44 blocks, which is an even number, because of course it is. And since it's a pain in the butt to make even numbers, I'm going to shorten it again. Boink. Or should I make it longer? Maybe I'll make it one longer. There. Oops. There. 45. Alright. Half of 45 is 22. Half. So, from this point, we find where 23 is. Right there. That should be our center point. Hooray! Just to double check, this should also be 23, yeah? Yes. Perfect. Alright, cool. And this way, 23 blocks. Let me make sure this is selected as my center point. 23. Excellent. And I can already tell that this circle is going to run into that one. That's not ideal. I want them to have tangent lines to each other, which means that they just barely meet on the edges. But I actually don't want them to overlap at all. So that's, I'm sure there's math to discover exactly where I need to put this point that I'm trying to find. I do not know the math. So instead I get to do some more guess and check. Would it be better to just shorten it by 2 blocks? Probably. In which case, the center point would be right there. And all of this needs to move over by 1. Move. And this gets shortened by... how many blocks? 20. See here, that's 22. So from there to there should also be 22. Yes. Alright, I did that right. That might make a tangent line. I might also be better to move it down this way just a little bit more. Just to make sure. Alright, just so that way I don't end up selecting all of that, I'm just going to grab this. How many more down should I move it? 1 or 2? Or 3? Maybe just 2. Move 2. Alright, cool. And then likewise I'm going to move this one. I didn't select the whole thing because I didn't want to actually accidentally grab any of the black. So I just do them individually. That should make a circle that has a close enough tangent line that I'm happy with that, I think. And it does still give me a bit of a curve that way. And I just need this inner curve like that. I almost worry that it's going to, well, the exterior is going to be a couple blocks out, which is why I can have a gap like this. But part of me worries that I made too much of a gap. How much do I care? That is the nice thing about having thickness to walls, is I can fudge stuff and it'll probably be fine. And I'm not feeling very mathematical today, so I'm just going to make a circle and call it good. Yay! Alright, circling. Alright, 1, 2, 3... Is it a 3 kind of a circle? Yeah, it's a 3 kind of a circle. 1, 2, 3, and then a 1, 2, 1, 2. We'll see where that gets me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and I'm mildly concerned that this isn't lining up at all. Yep, I think I need to move it 1 more that way and up 1 more. But then it won't line up over here. At the very least, move it that way by 1, and then maybe increase the size of the circle a little bit. Again, this is where math would probably help me if I could find the exact tangent line, because that's what I'm looking for, is a tangent line. But I never learned how to make those in math. I didn't make it that far in calculus before I dropped out. So yeah, how are we gonna do this? I could just try to make it a little bit bigger again. Problem is I have to make it at least 2 blocks bigger in order to keep it an even number, and I don't like working with odd numbers, so yeah, I'm just going to, well, actually, yeah, it has to be like that. And then it's almost certainly going to run into the other one, but I might have to just be okay with that. Unless I move it down a little bit again. But I worry that I'm kind of... Well, if you look at this, because it's going to be convex like that, that is still going to be a distinct enough difference. It probably will look okay. Probably. Hello! Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. I'm trying to make circles again. I'm trying to be very quick about this. I was debating just ignoring this bit and just building the floor, but I think it's important for me to be able to cover the entirety of the floor with this, so I have to make a circle. So, yeah. I already said it before, but I'm going to say it, reiterate. Baroque builds like their ovals and like things to have curvature, so a lot of times the front entrance would be coming out towards you like this, and then the bell towers on the sides would actually follow a concave curve going away from where it's convex in the front, just to add more of a dynamic curve. So that's kind of what I'm trying to replicate here, is trying to find where this bell tower front is going to go, and then I can cover the entirety of everything in my floor and start building from there. So once I find this curve, I hopefully don't have to do any more curves for the rest of this, but unfortunately I need to get this curve to line up on a tangent so that way that it meets up on that edge. And just because I distracted myself with talking, I'm going to make sure that I have everything right. So that's 24 to 22. Oh, this middle point is one off. That's right. That should do it. So I need to tell this to move one that way. And this should also be 23 then. It is. Okay. I worry about this still overlapping, but I'm going to try to build the circle, and if it overlaps, I guess I get to move it a little bit. So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The nice thing is I've already kind of measured this out before, so I know what kind of circle it's going to make. So it is going to overlap there, but then line up there. That's not bad. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then a 1, 1, 2. And lines up. You know, as far as tangent lines go, I don't think that's terrible. So, yay, good enough. And then I just need to copy that all the way over to there, and then I can delete the pink lines, and I have my curve. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Hooray! Goodbye, pink stuff. And then I'm going to modify my granite over here so that way it also lines up nicely. Yeah, I'm just going to select all of the granite I had already placed and delete it. Cool. Now I can copy this line, flip it, and paste it over there, the entirety of the orange line. Get my center point. Copy, flip, paste. Perfect. Alright, now I just need to put an outline over the top here where they meet and go all the way around the build, and that will be what I need to cover entirely with floor. I'm really hoping that my marble idea looks decent. I'm worried that it will look just like I made a floor of stained glass instead of looking like a floor of marble, in which case all of this work that I'll be doing now will be for naught, So, for those of you coming in who didn't see the beginning of my stream here, I'm actually planning on making an effect that looks hopefully like marble, where I'm actually going to make the floor entirely out of layers of stained glass in a fog effect, but then I'll put like stripies and stuff like that in the actual layering, so that way it hopefully looks like marble. And then what I can do is take whatever I build on top, flip it upside down, and then paste it underneath to give the mirrored look, so it looks like there's a reflection of everything. So that's the plan. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. Another idea I had with it was to essentially, actually, since this is all a straight line, I can just select over here and all the way over to here and set granite. Oops. Set polished granite. Something else I was planning on doing with it as well is for the mirrored ones, usually when something's reflected in marble, it actually, you don't notice if it has bright coloring, the coloring is usually dulled a little bit in the reflection, as opposed to looking in a mirror. So I was actually going to try to take my bright colorful palette and turn it into a completely desaturated neutral palette when I flip it upside down, to hopefully add to the look that it is in fact marble that you're looking at, instead of just looking into a mirror. Again, I don't know if this is actually going to work, but that's kind of the joy of experimentation, is doing something for the sake of trying to see if it looks cool. And I will, of course, after I put in my layers of glass, I'll go ahead and test it with the pillars for my altar. I should have finished the altar first, is what I should do, because currently I have a floating angel statue, so I'll probably end up at some point finishing the altar and then flipping it upside down, but for a test today I think it'll be fine to just do the pillars and the statue flipped. So yeah, I'm hoping it works too. I know the mirrored effect is something that I've done for a long time now. I did it for one of my builds that I made in my original Legend of Steve world. So for those who don't know, I actually had another adventure map that I posted that I made a very long time ago, like 2015, I want to say. It's been a while since I made this other adventure map. I've reached my center point, which is excellent. And in it I had a bonus dungeon at the very end of the game that not only had the mirrored effect, but I had a puzzle involved with it, where you had to make the stuff on the top actually match what was mirrored down below. And I kind of like the effect and want to do so more with my current Legend of Zelda map. I'll probably do some more puzzles that are very similar. But I'm hoping to basically take the same idea but put a spin on it to make it look more like a reflection in marble. There we go. All of the... Oh. Right, I should actually make sure I got all of the edge there. You know, I think it would take just as much time to just fill this in with granite over here than it would to try to select everything again to include that. Alright, so now I have to rack my brain, because I know that there is a command in World Edit that's something along the lines of like stack or something like that, where you select an area and then you can tell it to just like build the exact same thing but stack it on top of each other, and I need to do that right now in order to build up this granite to make it a proper wall, so that way I don't have to build this wall over and over again. The other thing I could do is just do a copy and paste, like jumping in place, but that's basically what stack is supposed to do. I don't know how to run the command though, so you'll have to forgive me as I flail for a second here and try to figure out how to make this thing work. Alright, so this, just to double check my, I'm on Java. Bedrock does not have World Edit, so yeah, I almost never work with Bedrock for other reasons as well. I just think it doesn't work as well as Java. Like, it's functional, but I don't like it. I don't like building in Bedrock version, which is kind of a shame because my son builds almost exclusively on the Switch. He has a computer and has access to Java Edition, so it's not like I'm depriving him of proper resources, but he prefers the controller and the Switch console for whatever reason. So that's one of the reasons I don't always play with my son for Minecraft, is because it's so hard to play with him on the controller. Going from Java to Bedrock is difficult. Oh, you just noticed my title for my stream? Well, so my last stream was titled Go for Baroque, so of course I have to go for if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. So I have to, you know, roll out all of the puns. The grand total of 2 Baroque puns I know. Alright, so theoretically, stack. Is there a up? No. There is an up. Stack up 20? No. I'm sorry. Clearly I don't use this often. I almost wonder if I need to do just like a copy first, stack up. What does it mean by offset? What did I do wrong? No. Stack me. Stack just 20? Haha! I got it to work! Hooray! Okay, so now I can do a lovely fill command. And so the way I'm going to do this is just, we're going to say fill with, we're going to start with brown. Oops. Brown stained glass. And I'm going to say that this is, just to make sure I'm covering all my bases, roughly 200 blocks. And let's see if that's good enough. Did it fill the entire area? I think it did. Alright, so we're going in reverse order because I wanted this from the top down, the white, brown, pink, orange, yellow, and then going back through all of those. So we're going to start with doing the exact same going backwards. But I should probably start actually putting in like streaks of color into this per layer. The idea is that every bit of marble isn't going to just be one flat color, it's going to have streaks and bobs. And so I'm going to say on the brown here, I'm going to do a black stained glass. So we're going to say brush of just doing a sphere with a size of 0. Actually, I think I need to do the what I'm actually replacing it with. We're going to do black stained glass, size of 0, with a mask of anything except for air. So that way I can just kind of be like, let's make some little swirly lines. That wasn't a very good swirly line. Let's try to connect it a little bit more. It's okay if it's not perfect, because marble is not perfect, and that's kind of what makes it beautiful. And we're going to be putting several different layers that are going to interconnect and kind of swirl together. Because I like swirly things. Do you like swirly things? I love swirly things. I don't know if this is going to work in the end. I'm hoping that enough layers of glass with the fog effect on top is going to make things cool. And you'll notice that the black stained glass is not a part of my colors that I've got here, which means that I don't have to worry about it overlapping a little bit. I almost wonder if I need to up the size by 1, but I know that that makes it right super thick. Maybe I'll do a couple of thicker lines running through. Just to double check, is my mask actually working? No. Hey, mask, why you no work? That's not what I wanted. It worked for when it was a size 0. Why didn't it work there? I want everything except for air. Theoretically, that should work, right? Oh sure, now it works. Did I have it selected wrong? What did I do wrong? I don't know. Alright, now we can get a thicker line. I just have to make sure I'm going slow enough with these that they actually blend together. And again, I don't have to worry about it being perfect. I do wish that there was a way to make a variable size of brush. I know with doing something like, if I'm painting in Photoshop, for instance, the width of my line can be set to being with a pressure pen, and you just can't do that with Minecraft. I don't think there's any way to hook up, like I have, just sitting right here, is a drawing tablet that lets me draw on the computer, that does a pen sensitivity thing. Works for Photoshop. There's not a mod out there that'll make it work for brushes in Minecraft, sadly. But that would be cool. So that way it's not all just one thickness of line. As it is, I have to kind of make my own thicknesses to make it so that way it's not all just one thickness here. Unfortunately, if I spend this long on each and every layer that I want to put in, I'm going to be at this all day. So I'm going to have to take some shortcuts with this. So I have to determine how much time do I want to spend per layer, and the answer is not this much time. I might do that one, and then I'll go back to the size of 1, I think. Actually, size of 0, sorry. Just to put in the smaller swirls. I was going to try to add in different colors of swirls as well, but I'd have to do things like make sure that there isn't a yellow swirl that's touching a yellow layer, things like that. Or else it will have weird overlaps and issues, and I do not want issues. Alright, you think this is swirly enough? I think that's swirly enough. Never mind, there's no swirls over here. One bit of a swirl over there. Almost wonder if I need to make this one the thicker brush and then this one the, or vice versa. So make this also a brush 0 with the mask, and then this one be the resized one. Well, thanks for joining us for a little bit. Honestly, the fact that anybody comes to these streams still baffles me. I don't know why you guys care enough. I don't know. It does mean a lot to me that I have people who actually care to come to my streams. Sometimes I worry that I'm just a random person making random videos. Oh no! I apparently deleted some of my granite over here. I suppose that's what I get for doing a mask that is anything but air. Perhaps I should... Oh, we have issues. Alright, I'm going to rework this so that way it is instead a mask... Oops. A mask of everything except air and... Oops. And polished granite. There. Cool. That worked. Alright. Let me patch these holes real quick and we won't have any more holes in the future. Hooray. Alright. Next one! So instead we're going to do fill command of white because we're moving backwards in my list, so white is the next. So fill white stained glass 200. Boink. Oh, apparently I didn't patch all my holes before. Whoops. I have the granite there along the edges just to show where my walls are going to go for the interior, essentially. They won't be this boring, but I figure in the actual floor itself you're not going to be paying that close attention to the walls, or I'll end up just like changing it later where I'll build something up on the top and I'm going to be flipping it and pasting it anyway, so it'll help fix the look of the walls. Alright, so the question is, do I try to put any streaks that aren't just black? Or should I try to put some pink streaks in as well? Though actually, yeah, pink isn't one of my adjacent colors because the next one is going to be yellow. So yeah, I could do, continue to do black, or I could do pink, or I could do a mixture of the two. Maybe I'll make another pink brush just because I can. So we're gonna go with the brush. Instead of black stained glass, we're gonna go with pink stained glass. And I might make this one a thicker brush. There. Why does that look like the mask didn't work again? Hang on, let me make sure it's working. Oh, it's working. Oh no, that's why. It's replacing all the stuff underneath it too. Curse you! Face reveal? I've done streams before. You should know what I look like by now. Just kidding. You might not have noticed that I've done streams. That's fine. I'm glad you find my tutorials helpful. It does make me feel better. I do like the pink stripes. Unfortunately, it's coloring through. So I'm wondering if instead of doing just a mask of everything except for air, let me just do an undo 20. Oops. Redo 20. Undo 5. Let's do that till it goes away. Undo 2 now. Undo. Undo 2. Perfect. Alright, so I'm gonna actually change the mask to just be whatever the current layer is. So I'm masking the white stained glass right now, and we'll do that for all of my other brushes. So now I can actually go through and make some pretty pink lines. Again, I don't want to spend too much time per layer, especially on these bottom layers where you're not going to hardly be able to see them like at all. But I want them to at least be somewhat visually interesting. Let me just make sure to fill that in. I don't know, Rococo in particular, which the basilica I'm basing this off of, the Basilica of the Holy Helpers, the 14 Holy Helpers, sorry, I have to look at my notes, is Rococo style, which is essentially late Baroque style. It is Baroque, but it's like you turned it up all the way. For me, it's kind of like saying that curvilinear Gothic architecture is Gothic architecture, but it's very late stage. The same could be said for Rococo, which is why it's lumped together with Baroque, is it's basically just Baroque, but turned up a notch. So, the Basilica of the 14 Holy Helpers is a Rococo build, and so that's kind of where I'm going all out with pastel colors, lots of curvature, and lots of intricate, curvy statues and gold plated everywhere, and everything that makes Baroque and Rococo Baroque and Rococo. Hence why I have almost no, well, other than those lines, I have almost no straight lines that are going on in here. It's all going to be very curvy. Part of me is still worried about this particular build just because there are some parts of it that I'm like, I logically know what it takes to build it, but then actually putting it into practice, I'm just like, maybe I'll get something wrong. Maybe I've done something wrong. I don't know. Which is one of the reasons why I was trying to be really, really meticulous with making these ovals proper ovals, is Did I accidentally delete my black lines underneath? No! That must have happened when I had my other mask on. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Yes, I am going to be trying to make the Baroque ceiling frescoes. But what that amounts to is essentially very pretty pixel art. So I'm going to make the dome, the proper dome look for it first, and then I'm going to try to take a pixel art image, one that I'll probably do in MS Paint first to get it down as pixel art. And then I will transfer that into Minecraft, and I'll try to make it go around the curve as best as possible. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but that's the plan, yes. So, yeah, that's everything about Baroque and Rococo is trying to be as artistic and intricate as possible. Ornate is a good terminology for it. Opulence. That's another one. Which is why people keep asking, oh, when are you going to get this done? And I'm like, well, I might not get it done for like months. It's going to take me months to build this, unfortunately. Because Baroque and Rococo is no joke. It is turning everything up like to 1000% for complexity, and I want to be able to show that in this build here, and which is why I'm trying to take my time with it, is because I don't want to just, you know, slap something out there and say, yes, this is obviously Baroque, when the whole point of having Baroque stuff is to be as flashy with your art as possible. So, might take me a little bit of time, but I do plan on trying to do my best with it. Hopefully you guys are patient with me while I'm in the process of building it, though. Alright, I think this layer is probably about done. I'm hoping this glass floor ends up turning out, otherwise I'm just going to have to delete it, but yeah, I'm hoping to do a full fog effect and make it deep enough that it will actually cover, when I flip the whole build upside down, it'll cover all the way to the roof as well. And then I'll probably, again, grayscale everything that's in the flipped version, just so that way it's drawing less attention to itself. It's there, it looks pretty, but it's not like you're staring down at the floor, whereas in Baroque and Rococo, the whole point is to try to draw your eye upwards instead. So, next layer! Where's my center point that I usually go to? Up over here. Not really a center point, but it's the center point of the actual cross section of the cathedral. So, and it seems to cover all the way. So let's go ahead and do, my next layer is going to be yellow. So fill with yellow stained glass. 200. Boink. Oh, that's bright. I just have to remind myself that it's going to be buried, and the whole point of it is just to add a yellow tint to everything. I'm not going to add any more pink to this layer. Actually, you know, I probably shouldn't have added black striping to the previous layer, because anywhere that there was black on the white layer and black on the brown layer, if you try to put two of the same color together, for some reason the glass effects don't stack anymore. So what I should do is have a completely different color for the striping for this one. So let's do some brown striping. there a way to just change the material? I think there is. Yeah, material. Let's change it to a brown stained glass instead of black. And do the same for this one. There, that's what I need to do. Nothing's happening, that's not a good sign. Oh, because I didn't change my mask. Cool. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to change what color I'm using for my striping for every single layer to avoid having anything, any repeats. Because repeats don't stack well with each other. Why does this brown look so purple? Well, that's brown alright. It almost doesn't look like it's layering properly over the top of everything else, but it's fine. And again, this is at the very bottom couple of layers. It's not going to matter as much as something on the surface is. You can already see it's getting kind of a neat effect of just lots of stripes, so that's where I plan on covering my entire floor with this. Definitely not leaving yellow as my top layer though. I will say, yellow is probably my least favorite color. I understand that it is important, and I use it all the time for making art because of that. But if I had a choice for, like, you know, what to color things it with, yellow is like on my bottom of my list for things. I tend to be more of a cool color person. And go for more pinks and blues and purples. I don't even know what it is about yellow that bothers me so much. It's just not my favorite. Try not to just follow the curves underneath, but it's so hard. That's my natural, you know, line as I'm drawing it down. Go against the grain. Now I will say I'm hoping to get the entirety of the floor done this stream. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but this is like my entire goal for this particular stream is to get all of this floor effect done. That's enough for this layer. Good enough. Next! Wow! Alright. Next layer is orange. And then that means that my actual color I should use is white. I should stripe it with white. So let me first change the mask to orange. And then the material to white stained glass. Okay. I want a big stripe running through here. And now to add a little bit of line variance, I basically redraw over the top and let some parts overlap so that way you get thinner parts, but then you let some parts be a little bit diverse to make thicker sections. As Strongbad says, first you draw an S, then you draw a slightly different S. It's strange how often that comes up. I like these white stripes. They're pretty. Right at the moment, I'm worried that the whole thing isn't pink enough, but I have to remind myself that I don't have a single pink layer in the mix yet. I haven't gotten through all of the layers yet. So, hopefully it's alright. So is everybody looking forward to Halloween? I sure am. I'm at the point right at the moment where I've actually been put in charge of doing the decoration for a trunk or treat. Local trunk or treat. So I've been trying to set up for a Halloween carnival and doing things like sewing curtains that are red and white stripes so that way I can set them up on PVC pipe to make a impromptu circus tent. Stuff like that. I'm probably spending a bit too much effort on it, especially since I've been neglecting making my own Halloween costumes for my kids. Trying to make sure to get this trunk or treat thing going. But I've been really having lots of fun trying to plan for this. So, in case you've been wondering what I've been doing IRL recently, it's been trying to get things ready for Halloween. I'll admit that Halloween is probably my favorite holiday. Mostly, not because it's scary. I think I liked it because I'm more into, like, the whole fantasy sort of stuff. And it's the only holiday where you get full-on, dragons and witches and stuff like that, that you find in most fantasy novels. And in some regards, I just really like making all of the different costumes. So, I don't know. For me, I've always appreciated Halloween even a little bit more than Christmas. So, but it's because I like the fantastical element of it. And so, yeah, that's where this is probably the busiest time of year, which is one of the reasons why, unfortunately, I didn't make any progress between this stream and last month's stream. And it's likely that I won't make a whole lot of progress again. But hopefully by next month, like after Halloween is over, I can start picking things up again and start building more rapid pace for these things. Fill the next layer. Next layer is the pink layer. Which means that I'm making yellow stripes. doing that right? I think I'm doing it right. It's very, very pink right now. I think that's one of the reasons why I left it as the brown and the white on the top, is because I was trying to prioritize what you see on the top layers are going to be the more prominent colors. So white is the main color I want, and then the brown is to desaturate everything else. And then pink is the next in line because it's most like my color palette. And then the orange and the yellow are just to make it so that way it was a little bit too pink before. It gives a bit of warmth to the whole thing. Yellow's on the bottom because it was way too saturated otherwise. Alright, did I already do the material change? I did. Alright, I think I'm set to start actually coloring stripes in. Where do I want yellow stripes? It looks like I don't have a big thick stripe over here, so let's go ahead and do that first. Can you tell I don't like yellow as I'm cringing as I'm making these stripes? I might have this be the least amount of stripes at it. I really don't like yellow. Except I'm trying to make this really super thick and it's not making a nice line like I want it to. There we go. That's a bit better. Cool. Curve down again. Have to have at least one good yellow stripe though. I'll probably put another one over here, like in this spot. This spot could use a nice dark yellow line. So the Halloween costumes I'm having to make for my kids is I'm actually making Minecraft themed Halloween costumes. So I'm trying to make cardboard armor for my son to wear. I've got some clothes that look kind of like Alex, so I'll just, you know, I don't think I'm gonna color my hair at all, but I'll do the whole throw my hair over the shoulder and braid it all. So I'll just go as Alex. I'll probably carry we have a plastic pickaxe I'll carry around just to solidify the fact that I am actually dressed up in a costume. But one of the big things I'm doing is I'm going to be sewing a cute little dress. I have a little 1-year-old daughter, and so I have found a fabric at Joann's before it went out of business that looked an awful lot like a creeper skin, where it's like various blocks of green over it. It was clearly meant to be a Minecraft fabric. It totally looks like a creeper. So I'm going to sew it into a little dress and put a little creeper face on the front of it, and so I'm going to have a cute little 1-year-old my 1-year-old daughter is going to be wearing a cute little creeper dress. Is the outfit I'm most excited for making. So, yay! Unfortunately, I'm running really quickly out of time to actually be making it. I should have been working on it already, but I've been so distracted with trying to get things ready for the trunk or treat that I've been putting it off a little bit. Sorry, that line just was not getting thick enough for me. I want it to be thicker than not, but still thinner than the other ones. There we go. That's a bit better. I might just come through in a couple spots to make that thicker. 1-year-olds are creepers. No, they're gremlins. It's a completely different type of monster altogether. In all seriousness, 1-year-olds tend to act an awful lot like dogs in some ways, in the fact that they find your garbage cans and pull everything out of the garbage cans and potentially stick it in their mouth and try to eat it too. Otherwise, if there is any sort of container that has objects in it, they will remove the objects from the container and scatter them where they're not supposed to go. Meanwhile, they'll put other things and put them in the containers. So next thing you know, I'm finding toys inside of my shoes, and then I'm finding shoes inside of my toy bins. Um, so and you know, they also are like dogs in that they love to play fetch. You know, you throw a ball for them, next thing you know, they come toddling back with the ball and throw it in your lap and look at you expectantly until you throw it again, and then they toddle off to go after it. So, you know, fun stuff. P.S. I love my children. Alright, I think that's enough yellow. Next layer. Alright, now we're doing brown. Fill, that's the command I'm looking for. Brain not working. Alright. Alright, then we change our mask to brown stained glass. And change the material. I think I did before the black for the brown. Oops. Uh-oh, I hear my daughter crying in the other room. She might have woken up from a nap. Alright. Shifting the chair. Let's get ready to do this layer now. We've actually made it full circle. Something I could potentially do is just rinse and repeat, where I take everything below this and copy and paste it. But I do worry that that means that there will be stripes that are all in the same spot. Something else I could do is flip it, mirror it, and paste it, but then I would have both sides of my build would look exactly the same. All in all, it's probably for the best for me to just continue to add layers on top of each other. More time consuming, yes, but I think it's will look better in the end to do so. And again, I have to make this deep enough that I can fit my entire ceiling in it, so that way I can get the full mirrored effect. It also will add to more of the fog effect by having more and more layers. So this, I fully anticipate this to be like 20 blocks tall or something like that. It's going to be a bit time consuming, but again, the hope is that it'll look cool. See here, other things I've been working on for the channel. As some of you know, I just recently posted a House Flipper 2 episode. I know it got a little bit lukewarm for views and stuff such, but it was kind of fun to be able to post something a little bit different, and it has been what I've been working on. Otherwise, what I've been doing has been playing Silksong. I'm not very good at Silksong, so you will never see footage of me playing Silksong because it is cringeworthy to watch because I am not a great last silk song player. But that has been something that I've been doing with some of my free time. How many layers am I going to do? Enough to cover the entirety of my ceiling. So I'm going to say at minimum 20 blocks. I know it's a lot, but I think it'll really sell the mirror effect if I manage to completely cover my ceiling. I suppose one thing I should measure is try to figure out how tall have I made. This is just going to be the altar over here. I haven't actually finished it yet because currently I have a floating angel up there up top. I actually need to move him back down, build up the entire altar, and then stick him on top. So that's, but even just rough-tomating where this is, we can say starting point, move up to past the angel guy to approximately where I would say the ceiling should stand relative to him. Let's say here. Position 2. That can't be 126 blocks. Nuh-uh. Is that seriously 120? No, that's not 120 blocks. Alright, minimum. Up to his head. Position 2. 65. I'm not making 100 layers. Maybe I should rethink this. This does not feel like 60 blocks. Am I missing something? Alright, from that to the sword. 60 blocks. Is it really? Well, math doesn't lie, that's 60 blocks. Huh. Well, minimum 60 blocks. Let's hope that by then the fog effect will actually kick in, and it will be less painful. Alright, I really need to kick it into gear and actually get these building up then. Because if that's how that's gonna be, we're in trouble. How? Oh no. I guess part of my hope is that after a while, the fog effect makes it so that way you can't see the ceiling. So if I can at least get the altar fit in there, that might have to be my point that I'm going for. 60 is an awful lot of layers, though. I mean, how long have I spent on this? And this is only, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers out of 60? Yeah, the bottom layers will get lost in the fog effect. That is kind of the point. I suppose something I could do is just finish all the next layer, which is the white one, and these ones would be my striped layers, move it up, and then fill the rest of the 60 as just plain colorings. Because, that's a lot. So I'm glad that you asked how high it was going to go, because I hadn't measured that. And I should have measured that. stripies look kind of cool though. I don't want this one to be as thick as that one, but I also want to put in some line variants. So on some of these curves, just kind of redo the shaping a little. Sure. They're a little bit too even, but whatever. I know, it is going to be a really deep hole just for a nice looking floor, but the nice thing is that it's going to be covered. I'm going to have an exterior door, and then I'm going to build out enough terrain to at least put in a like a walkway and stuff like that. Well, not a walkway. My brain isn't coming up with the name. A square. A big square that has like fountains and stuff. Because that is also a part of Baroque and worth putting into the build. Is going to be some sort of square on the outside of the build. Sorry, I'm distracted by how bright these yellow stripes are. I'm hoping they get lost a little bit in the fog here. Yeah, so there's going to be some ground that's going to block just how deep this hole is, and when it's completely contained, the idea is hopefully you won't even notice that it is a hole. It just will look like a reflection of what's up above. So, yes, it's a big deep hole. Would not suggest doing this in survival unless you plan on doing a much smaller build than what I am currently doing. Next layer is just going to be flat white. I'm not going to put any stripes on the top because you'll notice that like walking with the stripes directly on the surface looks weird. I've lost my center point. It's somewhere in the fog. Alright. Fill. No, Baroque is very different than Roman architecture. And actually Baroque originated in Italy, which I guess so did Rome. They're both from Italy, but they're very different timelines. So Roman architecture came it came after Greek architecture, but it was way before like Gothic architecture. Baroque is actually the follow-up to Renaissance. So if it goes Gothic, then Renaissance, then Baroque. So very massively displaced in the timeline of human events. It has some similarities to Roman architecture because they took all of the previous architecture types and implemented it into the new build. So the main new thing is they made things more round and more built around ovals, but otherwise they started implementing Greek columns again. They have the things my brain is not coming up with anymore because brains are like that. Pediment? Pediment sounds correct. The triangle thing that sits on top of Greek architecture. That uses Greek architecture for a lot of things, but also uses Roman and Romanesque style barrel vaults and things like that. It just basically takes everything before it and mashes it all together. So... Sometimes my brain is bad at coming up with the correct words, and I'm not always. This is why I do gobs and gobs of research beforehand to make sure I have everything right. Okay, so for a floor effect, it's not bad. I suppose what I should do is copy this, fill my 60 layers, and then paste it again on the top. Right, I have to be somewhere here. Let me just go over to the edge. It's the bottom, right? Yeah, I think it's the bottom. Oops, actually, not that. I need to go up all the way to the top. Maybe not the top, so long as I'm covering everything that's in the bounds of that. What is the top layer in there? Hang on. Negative 53. Da. Alright, then I go to my center point, assuming I can find it in the fog. Or, actually, how about I go to this top edge here, where I can be sure I can consistently find the edge, and copy it from there. Copy. Alright, and now I can just start filling all the layers from here. Yellow. Actually, what I should do... Oh. Or... Stack me. 60 blocks, we said? 60. No, I did it wrong again. Shoot. What did I do before that actually worked? Where be my other stack? Stack. Oh, I just did stack 20. Huh. Stack 60. It has to think about that one. Any second now. Any second. Perhaps this was a bit much to be stacking. Oops. Oh. If it was one block, stack 60, that makes sense. But this is like 6 times 60. That's why it's breaking. Because I am not a smart cookie and did not think that through at all. Right. I just need to do a stack 10. Undo! Undo! I've broken everyone. I'm sorry. This is what it looks like right now. I did my math wrong. That's what happened. Yeah, I did not do that right. It hasn't actually registered that I undid it. I'm going to quit out and go back in. And hope it doesn't die. Oof. It might die. Alright, so to catch you up to speed as to what I was doing that made it all crash, just a few blocks over. Yeah, I was trying to use the stack command, where I selected everything. I calculated that in order to fit at least my altar into the reflection, I needed at least 60 blocks high. So then I just did a stack of 60, forgetting that I had at least 6 blocks thick that I was working with, which then means 6 times 60 is 360, which made it crash a lot. I should have done stack 10. Why did I not think first? And now it's broken. It's broken, everyone. I might have to restart Minecraft. Hang on. Shoot. Alt F4. The fact that Alt F4 has ceased to work is a bad sign. So, Task Manager! Alright. That one. End task. Make it die. Thank you. It be dead. Let me try that again. It might take it a second to reload Minecraft. Give it just a little bit. I don't know if you're staring at a blank screen right now, because you might be, because I don't think I have OBS showing my desktop. Okay. Let's see the damage. Hey! It's back to the way it was before I did the stupid command. Okay. Let's try this again. And try not to kill everything. One side. And up to negative 53, was it? I think so. Da. Okay. Copy. maybe try to stack from the point that I copy from. I don't know if that matters, but just in case it does, let me just stay still. Copy. Alright. Stack 10. That's all I need. Right? That's all I need? Okay. Pushing the button. Hopefully it doesn't die this time. Boink. Well, it certainly went faster that time. Still hasn't loaded it yet. Haha! Hooray! It didn't die this time! Oh yeah, I think at this point the fog effect is deep enough that you're not going to see anything through that. Ooh. I almost wonder if I need to have less stacking. Because yeah, I can't see like through barely any of these layers. But let me see. I'm going to copy this, flip it upside down and paste it and see how it looks. And if I get the reflection, then I'm good. That should cover that. Up to, make sure those bounds, position 2. Change to spectator mode. Zoom. And for my own OCD, this thing needs to be flipped the other direction. And I want to find my center point. Not that I can see my center point through the glass. So let's just make sure I'm lined up here. Center point there. It is a lot of glass. It's probably too much glass. If it proves to be too much, I'll just delete half of it. I just need enough that you get the effect I want. And if it does it, and we'll see how far down it actually goes. I don't know where my center point is over there. Oh, way down there. Okay. Hop, hoppity hop. I went too far. Hoppity hop hop hop. Da? Just a couple more blocks. Da. This would be better if I actually measured things. Oop, went too far. Didn't go far enough. Maybe I was right before. Maybe one block. I don't know, hard to tell. Close enough. It is close enough. Oh, especially since it's going to be back a ways from there, so it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if I stand maybe like there-ish. Alright. Cool. Paste. Undo. Why did it not paste what I was expecting it to paste? I copied that before, right? That's to mark my spot. I'm not at build height. Not even close. Did I do something wrong when I was selecting this? That seems to be the case. trying not to over-select the area, just so that way I don't kill anything. I'm also trying to make sure I'm still getting everything. Position 2. Go back. Oh, I didn't copy. That would have been important. Should I stand in front of it, or... yeah, maybe just a little bit. Sure. Copy. I can already tell that that convex to concave curve for the front of the basilica or cathedral or whatever is going to look so cool. Like, seeing this curve makes me excited. Alright. Back to my yellow spot. Flip. Paste my there. Hey! Ta-da! And now... flip. Paste. Minus there. You can't see it. You can't see past like 3 layers. Oh, it doesn't need this much glass. You can barely see it. No. It is cool. It is what I wanted, but I feel like my glass effect is almost too opaque now. That is kind of cool. But I want to be able to see it past like 5 layers. Alright. So do I delete every other layer? Like space it out a little bit more. One, two. Stacking. Taking out some of the white layers, you think? Yeah. Whee! Okay. Maybe if I remove this top white layer, well, I still feel like it needs to have some sort of gaps. So maybe what I can do is space them out just a little bit more, and then I need to stack them much less than before, because then yeah, it's gonna be a little bit crazy. So maybe if I space them out every 3rd block is an air gap, that might be good. Well, that's the very bottom, so that will be 1, 2, 3. So then the next one would be 7 blocks up over here, and then just do an air gap. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is that? Okay, so that's right underneath the white block and then the white layer. And then if I just delete the white layer for right now. So So that should create an air block. Whoops. I will have to replace my layer here. Unfortunately, there's not a good way to do this. Well, okay, there probably is a good way to just fill in this one block gap, but I don't know what it is quickly enough, so I'm just going to fill it in by hand. I almost worry that that's still going to be not enough gaps for how many layers I need it to fog effect. That's where I almost wonder if I should do every 2 layers instead. So that's still a pretty intense fog effect there. So if because I should be able to see my lines underneath my ovals, and I don't. So maybe I need to go down one more and then space it out. Or just do every other layer spaced out. Axiom has a feature that'll help? Yeah, I'd believe it. I haven't finished learning how to do Axiom yet. Bothers me that that yellow is so close to the surface. I almost wish that I had made that one pink, but I think I made that yellow on the pink layer, if I remember right. Yeah, that yellow is on the pink layer, so I can't make it pink. What do I do instead? Can't make it orange because the orange is underneath it. Don't know. It's fine. I'll just have yellow in my floor. No, I don't like it. I don't want yellow. Do I do a complementary color? Should I do like teal just for the sake of being different? Hang on. I'm going to... This was my bottom that I did, right? Just double checking. Haha, yes, it is. I'm gonna do, instead of every 3rd layer, I'm gonna do every other layer. So, well, yeah, so this one is where I'm gonna start, and the other one should be, well, this one's 3, so the next one should be 5. Sorry. Move 1. There should be a way to say everything, well, maybe everything except polished granite? I don't think this will work, just throwing it out there. Yeah, that didn't work at all. What if I removed the 1? Nope. Fine. I'll just have holes in my granite for right now. Alright, so then if this one is at the 6 mark now, well, no, wait. Why did that make this look a different color? Why did that change the color of this top one? Undo. Why did that change the color of it? Why didn't this move up? Okay, wait, I need to move everything up. That's why I just need to select everything on this side. Because I'm not smart. I don't know what I'm thinking. Alright, just move. One. That moved everything along there. Oh, actually, I'm gonna stay on this side. Let me just select everything that's up here. Move up a ridiculous amount. This is position 2, and then I just have to change position 1 over and over again. That's the smarter way to go about this. Alright, so this one I need to go from Am I doing every layer or every 2 layers? Let's try every 2 layers for right now, in which case my starting point needs to be at y equals negative 55. Move. That was supposed to do something, right? Oh, there it goes. I just had to think about that one. Alright, so then the next one would be starting at negative 52. Just think about it. Is that at the top yet? Yes, that's at the top. Cool. So now, cover the entire thing. See here, this new Y level is negative 51. That should be all of it. I should probably fill in all of the granite now, so that way there's not holes in it. But that seems like a lot of effort. Alright, so total layers we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to get to the top. So 60 divided by 9 would be 5. That only is 54. So let's add another just for funsies, but that's just 10 anyway. Let's just do 9. It didn't seem like it needed that many layers of glass anyway. Alright. I like that this floor now feels a little bit more transparent. Stack 9. Did I have to copy that first? Did I copy it first? I did not copy it first. It does say quite a few blocks were changed. Maybe it's okay. Actually, I didn't need to copy it first. That seemed to work just fine. Hooray! That is a lot of layers of glass. I probably do not need this many layers of glass. Right. Now let's actually copy this over here again and see how it looks. Alright, I'm going to stand in between the pillars this time. Centered in between the pillars. I think that's centered. I hope that's centered. Good enough. Copy. These stripes are silly. Alright. Let's stand in what I think is the right spot. Doesn't have to be perfect, and I have to remind myself that it doesn't have to be perfect. Right? Right. Good enough. And good enough. Yes, perfect. Flip. X minus air. Sorry, I'll answer your question in just a second. I have to think about, but I'm not entirely sure what you mean. The lower tower part under the sculptures for mirror effect? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, they did appear. Okay. Flip. X minus air. Oh, I accidentally left brown as my top layer. Well, you get the gist. It definitely needs the white as the top layer. And once again, it kind of seems as though it's not quite as transparent as I would like it to be. And in fact, it almost seems to be stopping at about the same spot for transparency, and in fact, now I'm getting weird, glitchy stuff going through it. That's unfortunate. Well, it was worth a try. It does kind of give me the effect I want, but I definitely don't need 50 layers of glass in order to do this. They are under the glass, you just can't see them because of the fog effect. See, if I go into spectator mode and go through my layers of glass, there should be a statue down here. Oh look, a statue! You just can't see this deep into the glass layering, unfortunately. That looks kind of cool. Upside down statue. Yeah, the fog effect is maybe just a little bit too thick, which is kind of unfortunate. Nope, I liked it better when they were all sandwiched together. What I should maybe do is just have... Alright, so we're gonna say undo, undo, and we're gonna undo all of the stacking. And I will wait until I actually fall. Come on, computer, you can do it! Whee! Alright, and then I'm actually going to undo all of my spacing out. I have a new idea. Undo. I'm trying to do the undos one at a time so that way it doesn't overlap load my computer, because the problem is that it was moving all of the air in addition to all of the other blocks. So while it doesn't look like it's that many blocks, it's also all of the air that's in all of the rectangles in going up. Alright, one more. Okay. Got that. I think the problem is I need only just, like, maybe 3 layers of glass. So I have to pick my favorite of these 3 layers of glass and be happy with it. So maybe just these top 3. So it's a layer of white, a layer of brown, and a layer of pink. And then not have any more layers of glass beyond that. Actually, let's see what it looks like. Let's see here, just out of curiosity, is it still remembering my latest thing for pasting? Yes, it is. Cool. Well, actually, well, yeah, alright, undo, just for a second. If I were to break the top layer of white and paste minus air, paste in, so then I can see, yeah, it's still not, the fog effect is still too thick. So if I were to select the bottom layers and set them to air, which one do I need exactly? Oh, let me just poke through. Oops, that's not where it pokes through. Over here. Let me poke my head through here. That didn't tell me anything. Oh, that's white, so that's the top layer. So if I go down 3 to the pink layer, that is at negative 55. So if I do everything to negative 55 and just delete it, how does that look? There. Actually, do I need to do one block below negative 55? I think that might have included the pink layer. Let me do negative 56 just to be sure. Set air. You can see already that's a lot more visible already. So if we stand here, go down 1, paste. I'm not in the exact center, but you get the idea. Oh, then it reaches the end of the bottom of the world and it cuts it off anyway. Visibility-wise, that's better. I almost worried that that removed too much. Because I do want it to, well, I don't know, maybe I'll add one more layer back in, the orange layer. So, to negative 57 instead, over here. That feels better because I can see through that fairly well. I do lose a lot of my stippled effect, don't I? Unfortunate. Dare I put the yellow layer back in? Because now, if I do the paste of my upside down thing, that seems about right for how much I want that to be visible underneath. I want it to be visible, but not like glaring at you, obvious. I think that should be good. Let me copy all of this and move it up so that way I can fit the entirety of my build into it, which means moving it 60 blocks in the air. Undo, that's what I was going to do. My brain is not here today, I'm sorry. And that also means that I don't need all of the excess granite up on the top, so just for my own sanity's sake, I'm going to delete that. What level does that start at? -52 and up? Sure. Alright. Good enough. Position 2. Set air. It's just deleting the granite on the top, and then I'm going to grab everything and oh, come on. It was just a bunch of air. You can do it, computer. There he goes. Hey. Come on. There. So it starts now at -56. And it only needs to go as high as -53, so I'll make sure to only do that, so that way it doesn't lag too bad. Cool. And we're going to move that 60 blocks up. There. Now I can have my copy and paste it underneath, and it should put the entirety of the thing underneath here. Let me just flip this way and do a paste minus air, so that way you get the full effect. There we go. That way the mirror effect is there, it's visible, but it's not glaring. If I do that for the entire build, I think that'll be good. Just adds a little bit something something there. I still don't like this yellow stained glass. I'm gonna change it. I'm sorry. The yellow's gotta go. Goodbye, yellow. What color should I make that glass? First try. Very funny. You know, initially I was thinking I was going to have to desaturate the color palette when it went through, but I think the having multiple layers of fog effect on it actually kind of does that for me, and it actually makes it more pink, which is perfect because Rococo is very pink. Alright, position 2. I'm going to make yellow stained glass change to a different color. What color should I make it instead? It's on the pink layer, so it can't be pink. It can't be orange because the orange layer connects to it. So what color should we make it instead? I could make it cyan and see just how hideous that looks. Let's do it! Replace yellow stained glass with cyan stained glass. I like it better than the yellow. I'm not convinced I like it that much, though. Certainly less glaring. Yeah, I'm hoping that the reflection shows up well enough. It's decent. It does bother me that the black is a little bit too prominent of a color at the very top here. Since it's right underneath the white, it contrasts a great deal. I kind of want it to blend a little bit more. That one I can change to orange though, so I think I'm going to say replace black stained glass with orange. Oh, now it's brighter. I didn't want it to be brighter. It's better than the black though, I think. But I don't like that it's lighter. Undo. Maybe gray. Like, yeah, the dark gray. That's better, it's a bit more subtle. Cool. I think that should be okay. I don't want the floor to draw that much attention. I want it to be mostly boring, but just a little bit of color to it. So I think that will be perfect. Just like that. And now I can actually start designing things like putting in my pillars and then try to figure out how to put a ceiling on top of that. Unfortunately, I think that's going to have to do it for today. I hate to cut it off just with what feels like so little progress, but I do have to get going here. It's a little bit sooner than I usually do. I usually go full 3 hours. It's been 2.5 hours, and unfortunately my day is busy today, so, yeah. I'm sorry. I have to get going. Thank you everyone for coming to watch. Again, I'm still amazed any of you come to watch, so it means a lot to me. So thanks for doing that, and I will see you in the next stream, which will be November something. The first Saturday of November is when I do streaming at 2 p.m. So thanks everyone for coming, and I will see you later. Goodbye!